I am super excited about talking about this record. I know I'm always excited about metal and vinyl and hard rock and all that stuff, but I love this UFO album that does not get enough love to me online. For those of you that know UFO, usually you think of the classic Schenker era, right? Where they're just releasing tremendous album after a tremendous album. You know, starts around Phenomenon, Force It, No Heavy Petting. All these records are just so great. And of course, the two major classics, or three major classics, would be Lights Out, Obsession, and then Strangers in the Night, which is the live record and sums it all up and has some of the most amazing playing ever. Michael Schenker alone is worth getting those records, but that whole band is just phenomenal. Just a magical time in hard rock music. UFO in Europe and Asia in particular were really huge. In the States, they kind of always had a very big cult following, doing pretty well. Lights Out being their most successful record, I think, and just one of my favorite albums of all time. That being said, I would be a liar if I said that I didn't think that the second wave of UFO greatness wasn't worth checking out, right? I absolutely love the UFO era with Paul Chapman on guitar. He doesn't get talked about in the same way as Michael Schenker, and I think that that's a crime, because quite frankly, I go to these UFO records with Chapman much more in a lot of ways in my later years than I do with the Schenker records. Possibly some of it's to do with that I heard so much of the Michael Schenker era records that I know them. They're like in my DNA, like Zeppelin or early Kiss and Cheap Trick or Queen. But that being said, this UFO album, The Wild, the Willing, and the Innocent, in particular, really knocked me out. As a kid, I used to listen to a station that late night in New York that would play import records. It's where I first discovered Thin Lizzy, which changed my life, and where I first discovered UFO. And actually, the first UFO I heard was actually later UFO. It was Chapman era UFO, right? So that's really, so I actually first heard stuff from No Place to Run. And then I found this album, right? Again, The Wild, the Willing, and the Innocent. I love this record. I love the production on it. The band actually is self-producing after a not so great experience with George Martin, who produced famously The Beatles and America and one of my favorite Cheap Trick records. But they do an incredible job, and this album is just amazing. Chains, Long Gone. The title track is fantastic. The second side is even more of my favorite stuff. Making Moves is on this, and one of my favorite all-time songs, Lonely Hearts, which is just great. Believe it or not, UFO is starting to do interesting things in terms of their arrangements. Sometimes it's just bare piano against like saxophones in a couple tracks. I know some of you hard rockers are going to say, Peter, saxophones? What? Trust me, it works really cool, and they're used sparingly. And I have to say that Phil Moog in particular is really writing just some incredible lyrics. So this record, I think, moved me because I feel like the lyrical content and again the storytelling and just what he's inspired by is a lot more heavy and worth checking out than some of the early things, which are more just typical rock and roll subjects, right? And here it's a lot more reflective. Couldn't Get It Right is amazing. So when it gets heavy, it's very heavy, right, on this record, because Paul Chapman is a badass guitar player and the band is still killer. But there are places where it gets light, but it's the lyrical content is heavy. So it really connects with listeners in a different way. Like I said, didn't sell really great in the States at all, kind of got lost, right? They're on Chrysalis, didn't help matters much. But I will tell you that I think this record stands up just as strongly as Lights Out and Obsession and a lot of their classic records. So again, if you don't know it, please pick up The Wild, the Willing, and the Innocent. You will not be disappointed.